Okay, so last day of class here. So we have a couple things. I'm just going to talk a little bit about how you might want to organize your GitHub repo after this class here. And then you have time to work on your final project today. And then we have a last minute guest speaker. Mark Garbansky is going to come and talk to us at 11. He's an alumni who went off and started his own kind of web business that's been very successful. And so he's going to talk about how he's used coding and entrepreneurial and business kind of skills together to run a successful business and what that has been like here. So he does a lot of JavaScript coding and runs a website that trains people on how to use JavaScript coding. So we'll try to post that here. Mark will be joining us at 11 o'clock. Just a quick update or, a couple of quick things on Unit 15. One thing is that there's a final chapter on the text on coupling cohesion. I've really kind of skipped this because we've actually been talking about this with microservices and stuff throughout the whole class. And this talks about how we generally want highly cohesive components that are loosely coupled. And that's what kind of the microservice architecture is all about here. We don't want like these different components that are tightly covered that have lots of different interactions between them here. And so you might hear those terms, highly cohesive, loosely coupled software is a good way to do it. So, but that again, other than that, we're not gonna really cover chapter 13 here. Let's talk a little bit about GitHub here. So, we've been doing a lot of stuff on GitHub, but it's not on your private GitHub repo. So if I go to GitHub, and just go to GitHub and look at my repositories, and you should have a lot of students like to have their own GitHub, have their own GitHub stuff and have their own and kind of choose what repos are there. And you might use this list in your resume or your portfolio when you're trying to get a job. Have this, this is kind of your public face of coding here. But our classroom work is not there. So none of our classroom work is there. It is for me because I started there, but for you, it's probably in GitHub Classroom. So there's a special area of GitHub for classroom stuff. And so a lot of the repositories are in that area. And again, that's not linked from your repo directly. And it's a separate URL here. So let me see if I can find, here's one. The team, let's go. So again, in my repositories, if I go to a repository, it would be in GitHub/tgibbonscss, which is my login name in GitHub there. But the classroom stuff will be at GitHub. It'll be tgibbonstudents-css, and all of you will be in my classroom GitHub there. And so you might want to select some of these areas and move some of these projects and move them to your own repository. I've given you admin rights to your repository so you can transfer them and do stuff with them, especially now that we've graded them, you can go through and do that. So to do that, basically you find the repo in this GitHub Classroom area here, and then you can go into settings, go down and do a transfer ownership and transfer it to your own personal profile. and make sure it's public if you want that. So you might want to select certain repos from this class and put them in your public profile for that. You might also want to add if you don't have a README file. So when you go to a repo, the README file is displayed down below. It's like, here's the README file for the AdventureWorks here. But a lot of these have a blank README file or don't have a README file. So you can add a README file and just put a little description about the project here, what the project was, and maybe what class it was for. So you can add this, and you can edit this right in here. It uses markdown language, so not HTML, but a similar version where you can have headers and stuff like that for that. And you can actually do very sophisticated, as you can see, READMEs. But for your work, you can probably just add some simple READMEs that talk about this project and what you did. Okay, so again, you might want to move some of your project. Now, your final project will probably be, if you're doing it, will probably be in your repo already because you didn't create. The problem is, or the issue is, when I create an assignment and then you take that assignment, that's in the separate GitHub Classroom area. But for the final project, you probably created that repo on your own and posted it to your own area. So your final project is probably already in your own repo there. So just keep that in mind. And it's not bad to just go to your repo and just kind of look and see what are the repositories here that people can see for this. And again, you can post this. What's nice is then you can combine repos from lots of different classes into here and have them all listed. Okay. So why don't we'll let you work on your final project for a while. For this, I know there's some complicated stuff, especially in this, especially if you're doing some of this eShop stuff. So feel free to ask me for help with that. And then at 11 o'clock, we'll watch for Mark Grabinski to join us online on Zoom, and then we'll welcome him there. Sound good?